Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the show. My name is Chris with the DFA Sports Podcast. We appreciate you showing up. Today is going to start our new segment on NFL draft rankings for 2021. We are going to go over every single position except for the kickers, and we are going to give you our rankings of what we use when we are going into NFL drafts for this next week because the season starts in about 3 to 5 days, depending on which games you actually go with. And we are going to go from there. And so today we're going to start with our NFL rankings for the defenses, and we'll go top 15. Most leagues do 12-team leagues, so we're going to do top 15 just in case, so you guys have a few extras to go from. Number 15, the Green Bay Packers. The Packers have a fairly easy schedule this year. 2 games against the Lions, 2 games against the Bears, a couple of weak offenses that they're going to face in Washington and the Bengals. Last year they were 13th overall. We expect them to maintain that here this year and stay in the top 15 at number 15. At number 14, we have the 49ers. San Francisco is a little weird to do this year. Nick Bosa is coming back. He is their top pass rusher. That should help them on their defensive line. But their lack of quality quarterback play with Jimmy Garoppolo and Trey Lance is kind of up in the air. So we don't really know how the team is going to be overall. We do know that the offenses do affect the defenses. They do play in the toughest division in football, which did get Matt Stafford on the best team in that division. So we will see how that works. They haven't really done any more additions to their team. Last year, they were 17th overall. We expect them to move up to 14th. They do have a couple of easy games against the AFC South, against the Jags and Texans, so they should put up some pretty big points, but we don't expect them to be that much better than they were last year, even with the addition of Nick Bosa. Number 13, the New Orleans Saints. Now, the New Orleans Saints usually have one of the best rosters in football and usually one of the best defenses in football, on the top 5 defense over the last couple of years, led by Cam Jordan. So they usually benefited from the luxury of having Drew Brees running their offense. He's one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play the game of football. Now they have Jameis Winston, who is a interception, turnover-prone quarterback. It is his second chance at starting gig. The last time he did start, he did have a couple of seasons where he threw multiple interceptions over 25 in a season. For that defense and for that team to be good, they're going to need to curb the interceptions, bring that back down. Last year, they were 5th overall in total defense. We expect them to move up to 13th just because their offense is going to be a little more lacking than the years before. Number 12, we have the Arizona Cardinals. Now, the Cardinals are interesting because they do play in one of the hardest divisions in football. They did make a couple of additions to their defense with J.J. Watt and Malcolm Butler. We expect them to stay exact same spot as they did last year. They were 12th overall defense. We expect them to stay in that spot. Now, they will have Chandler Jones and J.J. Watt on their defensive line. That could be one of the best sack tandems in football. But again, they're playing in a very difficult division, but we expect them to be a very good defense this year at 12th overall. Number 11, the Colts. They were the 10th overall defense last year. We expect them to stay around that mark. They did add Carson Wentz as their quarterback, which should allow them to have a little bit better offensive play, take some pressure off of their defense. They do have a great running game in Jonathan Taylor and an elite offensive line. The question is, will their receivers stay healthy? Is their offense going to be able to stay healthy? They do play in the worst division in football. They should benefit very greatly from that, but they don't have an overwhelming defense overall. Their defensive line is very good. Darius Leonard is an unbelievable linebacker, but we expect them to stay around the same spot, 10th, 11th this year. We have them at number 11 on our draft board. Number 10, we have the Miami Dolphins. Now, they were a very, very interesting team last year. At the very end of the year, they did lead most of the league in overall defense. Their best third down defense last year. They led the league in turnovers and takeaways. They're led by Xavier Howard and Christian Wilkinson. They were the 6th overall defense. We expect them to stay very, very well run. Brian Flores is a great defensive coach. He has a lot of discipline. They led the league in fewest penalties and fewest penalty yards against for the entire year on defense. They do play in a very easy division, not really easy division. The Buffalo Bills are very good, but we have 2 rookies with Mac Jones and Zach Wilson to contend with. I wouldn't be surprised if they have a really good year on defense, but their offense needs to step up and take another step forward for them to maintain that. We have them firmly at number 10. We don't think they're going to be in the top 6 again this year. Number 9, we have the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, they tend to be a top-tier defense in the top 3 almost every single year. The problem is we're not going to have them there this year because they have the second hardest schedule in the NFL. Now, again, they were 3rd overall last year, led by T.J. Watt with a massive breakout season, technically an MVP caliber season, and it's going to be very difficult for him to improve on that and maintain it going forward. Those type of years don't come every single year. He is a great player. We expect him to be great again. He should get a lot of sacks, but we should take them as a step back this year due to their division getting that much better and them having a very tough schedule overall. Number 8, the New England Patriots. Now, again, Bill Belichick is a defensive genius. Every single year he comes up with something new. He eats rookie quarterbacks and young quarterbacks alive. His entire division is full of them. Tua Tagovailoa, Zach Wilson, even Josh Allen, who has struggled very, very much against Bill Belichick defenses. They should have good matchups going forward. The question is, are they going to be able to continue elite defensive play without a superstar on that side of the ball? We expect them to be right there in the thick of things again. We're going to keep them at number 8, even though they were number 7 last year. But we're going to put them basically around the exact same spot. Number 7 this year is our big dark horse. We have the Denver Broncos. Now, they're an interesting team because over the last couple of years, they've been drafting a lot on the defensive side of the ball with Bradley Chubb. And then this year's Rookie of the Year candidate for us is going to be Patrick Surtain II, or PS2. With Von Miller there and really, really good pass rushing attack, we expect them to make big strides on the defensive side of the ball. Now, Teddy Bridgewater is their quarterback. He tends to be very conservative. He doesn't turn the ball over that much, which is going to put some pressure on their defense. But they do look to have a very solid defense overall if Patrick Surtain can do what he needs to do in the defensive secondary. So we expect them to take a huge jump from 25th overall to 7th overall on our list. And don't be surprised if the Broncos surprise some people. They have a pretty easy schedule outside of having to play the Chargers and the Chiefs, but we expect them to be very, very good on the defensive side of the ball. Number 6, we have the Buffalo Bills. Now, Sean McDermott is one of the best defensive coaches in football. The Bills are poised to be one of the best teams in the AFC, if not supplanting the Chiefs as the best team in the AFC this year. They have a solid defense led by Edmonds and White, and their offense should be able to take some pressure off of them. Even though they don't run the ball, they tend to have a lot of 10 to 15 play drives, which should help them become, if not the best team in the conference, definitely the best team in their division. They do play against a lot of rookie quarterbacks and Tua Tagovailoa this year. They do get a pretty easy schedule against the NFC South, which new quarterback in Sam Darnold at Carolina, Atlanta having some rebuilding on their offense, and New Orleans with Jameis Winston. The defense should be able to capitalize on this, and we expect them to go from 16th overall defense to 6th overall if they're going to compete for the AFC Championship, which we assume that they will. Number 5, we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, again, Tampa Bay Buccaneers have made 0 changes to their team. They were the Super Bowl champions. They're trying to repeat for the first time since the Patriots did it. It's tough to say that a team that just won the Super Bowl is going to have any advantage coming in after the season that they just won it, but they are going to. This year they actually have a training camp and a full offseason, which should help them not have the early season woes that they had last year and basically repeat everything that they did on the second half of the season for the 2020 season when it came to the Tampa Bay Bucks. Last year they were top 5 defense. We want them, or they were top 8 defense. We want to move them up to top 5. We fully expect them to be better defensively throughout the entire season this year than they were last year. We have the Bucks at number 5. Now, number 4 is going to be a big question mark for us. We have the Los Angeles Rams, usually the top defense in the league, led by the best defensive player in Aaron Donald, and also the best corner in football, Jalen Ramsey. We have the Rams at number 4 and not number 1, 2, or 3 because they didn't really make that many big strides when it comes to picking up new things. They did add Matt Stafford, which is going to be huge for them on the offensive side of the ball and should help them a lot, but I don't think that they're going to be able to maintain their lack of production from the offensive side of the ball, meaning their defense is going to keep people from scoring as much as they did last year. They had a really, really good year last year. Again, they're top 4 defense. We don't expect them to be anything less than. They could end up being top number 1 depending on how Stafford assimilates into the offense. But we like the other 3 on the top 3 of this list because of the upgrades that they've made and overall defensive quality. So number 3, we have Washington. The reason why we moved them up from 4 to 3 this year is because it is Ron Rivera's second year. His second year as head coach should make a huge leap forward. They have the best defensive line in football with Chase Young, Allen Payne, Montez Sweat having one more year in his system. They should be able to move pretty good and have a really, really, really good numbers when it comes to sacks, fumbles, turnovers, etc. They play in one of the weakest divisions in football. The only people that they have to worry about in that division is going to be the Cowboys if Dak Prescott's healthy. Zach Martin's out right now when it comes to the protocols, so if they can't keep their people on the field, the Washington should have a basically cakewalk through the division. Plus, they do not play a very, very offensive heavy schedule with who they play this year. So again, combined with the most elite front four, we have them at number 3 overall on defense. Number 2 is the most complete defense on the list, the Baltimore Ravens. They have elite talent at all 3 levels: defensive line, linebacking core, secondary. They are usually a top 3 defense. We keep them in the top 2 this year. John Harbaugh is one of the best, is a great defensive-minded coach. They have one of the best running games in football with Lamar Jackson and usually J.K. Dobbins. The reason why they're not number 1 on our list this year is because of J.K. Dobbins' injury. They have to go with their secondary option, Gus Edwards, who is a great running back, but we feel like our number 1 spot is actually going to end up being better for them, just due to all of the combined things there. But again, the Ravens are a solid pick, and anybody would be out of their mind not to take them if they were available. Now, number 1 is a huge leap for us. The Cleveland Browns, they're going to take the top spot on our list just due to acquisitions made this year. They still have Myles Garrett, one of, if not the best defensive end in football. He is a freak athlete when it comes to rushing off the edge. They added Jadeveon Clowney to complement him on the other side, another number 1 overall pick. Now, he has had some struggles in the past at other teams. We think because of Myles Garrett being on the other side, he should be able to free him up to have some more one-on-ones, free up Myles Garrett to not have the protection shifted onto his side every single time and take double teams. That should really help. But the biggest thing that they're going to have on this time is shoring up their secondary with John Johnson being the safety coming over and being their defensive play caller. We really like him, his talent, everything that they have on that side. That should shore up the entire defense. But the biggest thing that we like on them is their ability to run the football with Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb emerging as one of the best running backs in football, strictly running the football, their ability to basically remove 10 to 15 minutes off of a game, allowing their defense to stay fresh, healthy, getting leads as an offense with Baker Mayfield and the high-powered offense they have on the Cleveland Browns under Kevin Stefanski. They should be able to allow Myles Garrett and Jadeveon Clowney to pin their ears back and get a lot more sacks than usual. I wouldn't be surprised if they struggle week 1. They do have a tough matchup against the Chiefs. Anybody has a tough matchup against the Chiefs. But after week 1, we expect them to be the number 1 defense going forward. And that's our list. Please let us know what you think in the comments. Subscribe if you like what we have here. I want to know whether you think this list is good, where you would have other people on the list if there's nobody on here. And we will see you next time. Appreciate it.